I programmed these drums. On this video, we'll go over how to program jazz drums from a very basic swing pattern to something more complex. Stay tuned for that, you don't want to miss it. For all these examples, I'm going to be using Addictive Drums 2 with the Modern Jazz pack. In part 1, we'll take a look at how to set up the basics, the ride, the bass drum, and the hi-hat. But first, let's set up our grid. We'll use eighth note triplets and we'll be at 120. First thing we'll do is the ride pattern. This is the foundation of swing feel. Let's program the pattern. For the purposes of this video, we won't spend time talking about how to subdivide triplets. We'll do that in another video. For now, just divide into groupings of 3. The pattern is 1, 1, 3, 1, 1, 3. And once we have that, copy and paste it through the phrase. And let's hear it. You can experiment with the degree of swing. You can try a more open swing or a tighter swing by opening or closing the space of the 2 notes next to each other, so the 3-1 of the pattern. Let's move on to the bass drum. The bass drum should be a very familiar pattern. Traditionally, the bass drum plays 4 on the floor, but not like EDM. In jazz, we feather the bass drum, meaning it's played very lightly, like a feather hitting the drum. It's meant to be felt more than heard. On counts 2 and 4, up the velocity just a little bit to get a slight accent. Not too much, but just enough to make it swing a little bit more. Remember, it's more about being felt than heard. Let's take a listen. Those are the first 2 very important elements of swing. Let's move on and take a look at the third basic element, the hi-hat. We'll use the sound of it being played by stomping on the pedal, not being played with sticks. It's commonly referred to as the chick. Let's take a listen to the 3 elements together. Next, we haven't talked about the snare, so let's talk about comping. And that's just another way of saying accompanying, and we use it to support and interact with the melody or soloist. Not so much a timekeeper, but to have a musical conversation. We don't have a melody, but let's try something out. Let's add some ghost notes to give the groove a little bit more momentum. And we're bringing the velocity way down. We mainly want to capture the texture of the snare. You don't want it to stick out too much, you just want the color. You want the ride, the hi-hat, and the bass drum to be the driving forces of the swing. Let's take a listen to it. And for a second idea, maybe a B section, you can add a mambo. Let's copy and paste the ride. And let's copy and paste the hi-hat and also the bass drum. Let's put a cross stick on count 2 and toms on 4 and the last triplet of the measure. And we have something like this. Part 2. Let's speed up the tempo a little. We're at 132 beats a minute. The basic elements don't change, but we'll add a little more movement on the snare and toms, and we'll do a little fill at the end. We have our ride pattern. Let's add the hi-hat. And now let's add the bass drum. Real quick, don't forget to download the free Midi in the description down below. Let's move on. I added these snare notes in here. There's no melody or soloist to interact with, so I just made what sounded good to me. Remember to keep the velocity low. The snare isn't the star here. We want to focus on the ride, the hi-hat, and the bass drum. Let's also add some toms. A little bit busier than before, but not much. Trust me, it'll get crazier later in the video, so stay tuned for that. Now let's listen to what we have. And now let's add some toms. Let's check out this fill. We're gonna use this foot splash on the hi-hat. And let's add some toms on top of that. And we are crescendoing all of these notes, meaning we're starting soft and we're getting loud. Let's check it out all together. Not drastically different from the first part, but it just has a little bit more life, a little bit more realism to the drums. It's not just a loop. With this genre of music, you definitely don't want to get stuck in a loop. You want an ever-changing flow of notes. Let's check out part 3. Definitely faster and definitely busier. Let's check it out. We're at 280 beats a minute now, and we're entering the world of bebop. We won't get into too much of the history of everything, but it's a style of jazz that is faster and built on improvisation. The basics still apply, but we can do more now. The ride will be focused more on the downbeats and playing the upbeat 8th note every once in a while to dictate the swing. Let's listen to the ride pattern by itself. Now let's add the hi-hat on 2 and 4. And now let's bring in the bass drum. We're still feathering the bass drum, but no longer 4 on the floor. Now we're using it for accents. For example, these crashes right here. A jazz drummer would normally crash the ride. They're not crash cymbals. It's just the ride being crashed, which gives it a very unique sound and very stylistically accurate. Now let's take a listen. Now let's talk about the snare. We didn't use it much before, but for this style of jazz, we use it much more. All these notes are a combination of ghost notes and accents. Let's hear all these elements together now. Let's add a couple of the hi-hat splashes. This really starts to sell the realism because jazz drummers will use this technique a lot. And now let's add some more crashes. Before we had the ride crashes, but to add a little bit more accent and color, let's just add a couple different ones here and there. Let's also add some toms to bring in some extra energy. And now let's hear all those elements together. And that's it. That's a lot of jazz for one day. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you learned something new, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment what I should do next. Don't forget to download the free Midi from the link in the description. Until next time.